Hey guys, Assalamualikum. I hope they're all doing okay. So, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be discussing a very important topic, which is going to be about procrastination. So procrastination is a very common basically thing that is going on nowadays. I think it doesn't matter your age, every person is doing procrastination, which, as I said, has become very popular lately. Procrastination is basically avoiding something for a very long time. In this video, I'm going to be giving you little tips how to avoid it, what are the causes. I've talked to many people who have said that it's very difficult to avoid it. First of all, the best advice I can give you right now is to understand yourself. You don't have to understand anything at all. Just you have to understand yourself, and by self I mean your mind and your body. These two things you have to understand. It's very important because so there are different situations. Number one is that you may feel you have had enough rest, you're fresh, you're not feeling sleepy or anything, so you should be able to complete your work, but that's not the case. It may seem that you're not tired, you don't need a lot of rest because you've already taken rest enough. In that case, I want you to tell yourself, I want you to know that is not the case. You do need rest, even though it may feel like you don't, but you do need rest. Number two, do not have any timetable at all, especially if you're a student and you're making a plan that I have to study this chapter in 1 hour, this chapter in 2 hours, this and that. Remove it. You will never be able to complete it unless you are so used to following your timetable. Then yeah, that's a good thing, go follow it. But if you have had experience in the past where you are not able to follow timetable, I think it's time to admit it that you are not the type of person who is going to follow this timetable. So number three is basically the many kind of tips that you might see in other people's videos and even in Google or some blogs, websites, etc. These simple tips include: sit in some place where there's no distraction, turn off your mobile phones, turn off your computer, laptop, TV, just to be away from anything that can disturb you. Try to sit in not a very relaxing environment but relaxing environment. Surround yourself with a little bit books so that you may get motivated. Admit that you are procrastinating. I think if you are already watching this video, it means that you know and you've already admitted, so good for you. Up a good study location. It is important, but at the same time it should not be your top priority, because especially if you're living in some household like in Pakistan, it's not very common to have some full privacy, have some separate bedroom, this and that. But if you have a good study location, then good for you. Number four is very important, which is set your goals, but make sure that you are not really absorbed in that, because it may happen that you're say I want to become a doctor, so if I'm not studying, then I'm I want to become a doctor. If I'm not studying, it means I will never be a doctor and this and that, so I'm just going to degrade myself, which is not good for me. So same case goes for you. So have some goals, definite goals, but do not really delve into that much. 5 is reward yourself. I think this is one of the most important one too. Rewarding is very important, and you can reward yourself in different ways. So the next step that I'm going to give you is that set little breaks after studying. So you're going to give yourself some time, your mind some time to so that you can get ready to take a break or to study. Because if you're going to just delve right into it, your mind is probably going to think, oh my god, it's so much work and I'm so tired and this and that, I would just want to rest a little bit more, which if you're going to do that, then you're going to end up procrastination. It's just think of it as you're playing some beautiful, some awesome game, and you're doing some mission, and you know that after 5 minutes you have to, let's say, study. but you're not able to complete that mission. So unless you complete that mission, your mind is just going to be staying on, I wish I had more time so that I can complete it and this and that. So same goes for this case. So one of the way you can avoid procrastination, if some time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes I think this should be enough to give yourself time to convince yourself that yeah, I have to take break, or yeah, I have to take a rest now. So I have this rule which says no deadline but deadline. So what does that mean? Again, I talked to many people and they've said that they end up making deadline. Just like you make plans, you make a timetable, you also make some deadline. You have some deadline to complete. Let's say you have some deadline from your college, from your work, and obviously you can't change that deadline, but the deadline that you make yourself, you can change that. I want you to change that. I want you to have no deadline for that. I mean, let's say you have to submit an essay after 1 week, but you're telling yourself that you have to complete that today, no matter what. Okay, so I don't want you to do that. Do not have this type of deadline, because in your mind knows that you still have the whole week to complete it. So if you're going to just force yourself to complete it that day, like in 1 day, you're going to end up first of all not doing it, or even if you do end up doing it, it's not going to be that good. Okay, because you are not fully focused on it. So no deadline. Another example that I give you which could explain but deadline statement to you. Let's say I have test tomorrow. I end up saying to myself, I make a deadline that I have to complete this one chapter in 1 hour. Okay, so you don't have to do that. No deadline. But deadline means that instead of telling yourself you have to complete that in 1 hour, tell yourself that you have deadline because you have deadline, or 1 day because you are going to give that test the next day. So you have whole 24 hours. Okay? So now I know that I have a whole day to complete that, and my mind is going to be fresh. My mind is like, okay, I have a lot of hours and I will complete it slowly, just few little topics, take breaks, and hence that. So no deadline but deadline. If you're going to just force yourself to complete that one chapter in 1 hour, it's not going to work for you, because your mind knows that you still have 1 hour, but if you're just forcing yourself, you won't be able to do good in next test. And so I want you to avoid that. Maybe those kind of procrastinator who procrastinate by saying that we have a lot of time and we will complete it later, and that later does not come. So if you're that kind of procrastinator, I have advice for you, is that you have to be a little bit strict with yourself. I think the biggest reason would be that you have a lot of things to do and you have no idea where to start. So first of all, do a little bit chunks. Okay, complete those little topics, and I want you to start with easiest topics so that your mind may get used to, okay, I have to study now. First of all, start with little topics and then do it. Another step of avoiding procrastination is to not ask your friends how much they have done. Remember those past happy moments where you were afraid but you end up completed it on time. So you can do that. If you have done that before, you end up taking good marks, you end up passing that test, that paper, so you can do it now. Also, these kind of tips may not work for every other task, so I want you to divide even your task in 3 different categories. Number 1 is important, very important, and not so important. Okay? I want you to have some time for yourself, and if that means you have to take break, you have to be absent from your college, your school, or your academy, be absent. Okay, take a holiday. So the next step is reduce the number of things that you need to do. When you're going to think a lot, like I have to do this, I have to complete my test, I have to do homework, I have to complete my practical notebook, I have to make an assignment, I have to do a lot of things, I have to make podcast, I have to make next reel or video, and this and that. You're going to just end up burning yourself again. You don't want to do that. I want you to divide those in different days. And the rule that can work for you is work or nothing. Work or nothing means that you're going to give yourself 2 options. Number 1 is that you don't have to do this today. you have time, and number two, you have nothing else to do. Simple as that. So even when you're going to think that, okay, don't have to do that, but the second thing is you don't have anything to do, you're going to end up doing it. Okay, so instead of just forcing yourself, just give yourself time. At the end of the day, you're going to feel like, I haven't studied, so I should study. Sometimes it's good when you have a lot of pressure, especially in the last moment, so you're going to complete it on time. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes procrastination is good. It have helped me a lot in trying out different things. So if you're just going to say, let's say, I don't want to work to do not do work, and the next day come back to that task again, and you're going to have some new ideas which is going to be helpful for your work. To not avoid procrastination but embrace it. By embracing means that understand it, because procrastination occurs because your body is telling you that you need to change some habits of yours. It may be helpful for you, so remember that. Do not avoid it, because avoiding means you can avoid something, okay? Especially if it's not physical, it's not like you're alcoholic and you say, hey, I'm going to just avoid drinking beer and this and that. It can't, okay? You can control yourself. It's not like you procrastinate in every other work. So embrace it. Do change some different techniques, because one technique may not work for you. I hope you guys like this video, and if you like this, then do subscribe to my channel. I love yous for now.